you and I know that any civilizations out there, if they want to, they could blow up this planet and it's all over. So we know that, the people that supposedly run the show on this planet, do they really run the show? Well, that answers it. Well, say we're one of these people, one of these guys, this person that runs the show on this planet, and we already know that it's going to get out of hand, and they're not. I mean, it's not going to be like it's going to get out of hand in a wild way, but there's no longer going to be control and manipulate the masses. What can these people do for themselves? They're in wealthy positions. They have all this stuff. What can they do for themselves? What should they do for themselves to allow this for themselves to make this transference as easy as possible even for themselves and not just for the masses?
Well, for themselves, what they have to realize is that the period that many of them grew up in, and they're now older people that have been doing this for a majority of their life, is to learn to just shift it and become people of light instead of people of darkness. And this has been very difficult for most of them. They would not willing to accept it. They're very arrogant. So basically what is happening is it's becoming a position which is now very close to happening where they will just have to let go. And that's very close, as I said, to happening. And once that happens, this planet becomes a wholly different place, because then the group that has been holding us back for centuries and really for millennia will then be out of the picture. And the amount of change, the amount of growth, the amount of love on this planet is unbelievable. It's off the charts. And so what is going to happen here is a vast explosion of this love, which will lead to an incredible creativity, will just transform this planet, to use the Bible's thing, in the twinkle of an eye.
Nice. And so when you're saying these people should let go, they should let go of the wealth, they should get their lifestyles. What do you mean by that? And what steps can they take? They're wealthy people, and you put yourselves in their shoes. They've accumulated all this material wealth. What can they do to make this life easier on themselves so that they can make the transfers in a much better way?
Well, what they're doing is trying to maintain the fear, maintain the control. What we have to realize, there's a vast abundance on this planet ready to be sprinkled among every person on this planet. And so what we have to convince these people of, or just force them to be convinced of it, is that there's enough abundance to go around so many times as to be ridiculous. We're going away from wealth, and this is where the controllers are upset, because one of the ways they control people is through the amount of wealth people are allowed to have, to end all of that. So actually, mutual abundance leads to the end of control. So they just have to let the abundance be, let it happen, and there are groups right now that are forcing them to let it happen. And when all that happens, the amount of abundance, the amount of love, the amount of care for each person on this planet is going to change this planet, because a lot of people are in a survival mode. They have fears, they have pains within them. Once this fear and pain can be released properly by special programs that can allow them to look at what they're doing in a way that can let them go and transform it, then you have a planet that is full of love. And beside that, which is the most important element here, is not only are we transforming in that way, but we're transforming ourselves from limited conscious to fully conscious beings, which means that there's a contact that is inevitable in here. What that contact is about is helping us to complete that particular project, which is the movement of ourselves from what I just said, from limited to fully conscious beings. And that means that not only is this society ready for a rapid change, but above that sits contact and the return to us of being a fully potentialized, fully conscious being of light. This person we've been referring to lately when we've been talking, the person that walks in the world of spirit and in the world of physicality and is in total communication with both and can translate either world into the other, so they become these incredible physical angels whose job is basically, that heaven has given them, is to bring physicality up to its fullest potential. And in our case, it's to take the nearest part of physicality, which is our home world, Mother Earth, and the solar system that she's a part of, create a star nation, a beautiful galactic civilization, galactic society, and bring that galactic society up to its fullest potential through our creativity, love, and caring for each other. and to bring together for us and for the entire planet and this entire solar system a great beacon of light which can then transform not only this galaxy but the whole of creation.
Awesome, awesome. Now, and so for these people, you and I both know that it's inevitable that the shift's going to happen, and that's put in mildly. So, and it's kind of like being an alcoholic or an addict. You're addicted to wealth. You're addicted to material items, and one of the best ways to overcome such a way of life is just to wean yourself off portions at a time. And you can jump into it cold turkey and quit whatever it is you want to quit, but the best way to do that is to just do a little bit of time until you're no longer addicted to that aspect. And the sooner you connect with love, the sooner you're going to be, and the more you're connected with it, and the stronger you stay with it, the sooner you're going to be rid of that addiction. So is that what we're saying, Sheldan? These people just need to just let go of it and just allow. I mean, maybe they need to just trickle it a little by little until it's all and soon enough. I think money is going to be obsolete anyhow. Is that correct? You think?
Right. Well, normally we would have a regular time frame for this, but unfortunately we're in an accelerated time frame. So if they can't do it quickly, then there are groups on this planet which will help them to do it quickly. So we have to just understand and know that there are forces on this planet. There are things happening in secret on this planet which will allow this world to change and to switch from the controllers to those that are carers and those that wish very deeply to use the love, the innate love which is in all of us, to help us make up for all that has happened in our world and in our lives and become abundant, caring beings who take each other with love, who understand one another, who support one another, and are in a great abundance so that they have a resource that they can do whatever is needed to create those things which solve any problem on this planet and which allow us to creatively put together this galactic civilization, this galactic society which we've been alluding to.
No, that's another good point. Good question, I guess. First of all, these people, and one of the things that I do for myself, Sheldan, on a daily basis, literally, I put out the love energy even to these people that think they run the show. I mean, they're there to help us with what we're going through, but they're not the ones that actually do run the show per se. I mean, if they were, then they would be our gurus and our gods, and we'd be worshiping them. And I can't see worshiping personality. If I worship anything at all, it's going to be God himself, herself. So there's groups out there. You're saying, and so maybe that's a good point. They should extend themselves to maybe find some of these groups and see about working with them, and maybe that would allow them to help ease their mind for this process to work as well. And with that in mind, I don't know if you're allowed to or if you want to, and it's up to you. Who are these groups that you're talking about?
Well, these groups I have to just keep it secret because what we're dealing with right now is a world that's still pretty violent, barbaric, and psychopathic. So what we have to really understand is that these groups are here. They're secret right now because they have to be, but they are using their influence and their wealth and their power in a positive way to change our planet. So just know they're out there, and just work within your own self and know that at the right time, which is not that far off, great changes will happen. And as I just like to allude to use the biblical phrase, in the twinkling of an eye.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that, and it's possible. I think that some of these people are really, really wanting to make the change, but maybe they're even scared because of the position they're in, period. It's really hard for them. I mean, if you take a person that's been wealthy for years, generations upon generations, you can't just make a change overnight. I mean, most people can't just like asking a drug addict to stop being an addict overnight. So, and I guess it would be a good idea for these people to find some of these groups, hopefully, and maybe they could do some of these meditations you're talking about and decree that they could find these groups that will help them. But in the meantime, if these people make these changes sooner, then will we be able to make this first contact sooner too, do you think?
Well, the contact is an